Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? You are now watching Alcob Vlogs, and this is part two to what to study or what to know before you get into maintenance, what to study for the 955 test. So let's get into the video. This is part two. So we left off at part one, right? Now today we're doing part two, which is equipment maintenance and operation. So the Google search that I came up with is basic things to know as a warehouse mechanic. And Google gave me this all based off of AI. So I'm giving it to y'all because it's free of service for you to go search it up and things to know. I'm just verifying that it is correct. And this is what we do need to know and also of what we need to study. But at the end of this whole series, I will tell you how to study for the test by using this knowledge, right? Because it's not giving you questions and answers. It's just telling you the overall of what you need to know. So make sure y'all watch this video before you actually get into maintenance, because it is a tough task, right? It is something that can be extreme at times. Sometimes it's something that could be a little bit easy, but as you grow and learn more and more and more, it becomes easier and easier. But it doesn't mean you won't be challenged a lot of the times, because it could be the smallest thing that could give you a biggest headache. But let's get into it. So the second phase is equipment maintenance and operation. So for the first thing, in my current position now, my current shift that I'm on, we do a lot of preventative maintenance. So let's read it first. It's called PMs. Make sure you do your PMs. As soon as you get there, you have a time window that you have to attack and get your PMs done, right? So let's read it first. So implement and follow a regular preventative maintenance schedule for all warehouse equipment, particularly forklifts. Well, not particularly forklifts for us. I mean, if you're in your building, you work on forklifts, yes. This includes inspecting tires, fluid levels, brakes, safety features, and performing scheduled oil and filter changes. So I'm going to substitute forklift for hydraulic dumps, right? Because we have dumps that go up and dump, like, it could dump packages, it could dump letters, it could dump a lot of stuff. We call them dumpers, right? So the same thing that applies for a forklift, to make sure that, well, it doesn't have tire on the dump, but make sure you check the fluid levels, make sure you checking the brakes for when you push a certain button that it stops on time. Make sure that you try out the safety features, which is like e-stops is what we call them, emergency stops. And you perform the oil changes in the hydraulic container, because sometimes those dumps go up and down, up and down, up and down, and that oil that runs through those lines in order to get that dump to move can run low, right? So the main thing about PMs is look, listen, feel. And when you look, if you see something wrong, write it down. If you hear something wrong, like something scraping or screeching, something's wrong, write it down. And if you can feel, and sometimes you'll really feel off of the temperature. Say the whole warehouse is cool when you're walking through the whole building, right? Then you get to your PMs and you're around a certain area and you just feel some heat. And you're like, yo man, is it me or did it get hot? Now you're starting to feel something, so go closer to where it's hot at, but be cautious, right? Because you don't want something to blow up on you. So you have to look, listen, and feel. All right? And then we have equipment specific knowledge. Understand the operation, maintenance requirements, and potential issues for various warehouse equipment such as forklifts, pallet jacks, conveyor belts, and other material handling equipment. So for the most part, in every warehouse, you will see most of these things. And if you have an idea and you worked in warehouses before, you have been around it, but you've been looking at it at a different angle. When you're working with the operation, you look at it differently, right? All you're doing is putting some on and just filling up the belts, but you're not paying attention to anything else of how it runs, the speed of the belt, the timing of the belt, the area of the belt. Like, you're not looking at anything like that when you're working with it. But when you're working on it, that's when you're in maintenance. and you start to look at these little pieces of the whole operation differently. So you have to have equipment specific knowledge and see how it flows, see how it connects to the next section in order to get to the next part, and how the whole thing comes together as one. You start to notice that more and more and more as you're a mechanic. So next we have troubleshooting and diagnostics. Develop skills in identifying and resolving common equipment problems. This might involve inspecting components for wear, checking fluid levels, and diagnosing electrical or hydraulic system issues. Now, for the most part, troubleshooting is when you're figuring out, and diagnostics is why, right? So say if you have a fluid line that's leaking, so you look like you troubleshooting, and then you see like, oh, there's a leak right here, right? And the diagnostics is like, why is it leaking? Like, does it have a hole? Does it have a hole? Is the end of it loose? Is the beginning of it loose? So that's how you put both of those together. So hydraulic systems. Understand the principles of hydraulic systems and how to read basic hydraulic schematics. This knowledge is essential for troubleshooting and repairing many types of warehouse equipment. So basically what they said, follow that. Basic electrical knowledge. Now, most people don't start off as ET because when working for the company that I work for, they mostly look for people that have electrical experience already, because it is a tough task at times and you do have to know what you're doing. So when you're just getting started in this company, you may start at a lower level, but as you gain more knowledge, you become better. But if you're familiar or not, start to familiarize yourself with it. Familiarity with electrical systems and their components is crucial for diagnosing and addressing electrical problems in warehouse machinery. There's a lot of moving parts to a lot of different things in warehouses. You have to understand that if you looking at something and it looks like a foreign language to you, you have to ask a lot of questions or get with the people that been doing it for years. And there's always people that been doing it for years, and you can learn a lot by just hanging around them and asking them questions. And for the most part, they'll tell you like, yo, if you have any questions, ask me the questions, right? And a lot of times too, we could just come here online and search it up and see how to do the stuff. And then for the last part, we have inventory management systems. Be comfortable using warehouse management systems, WMS, to track maintenance records, inventory levels, and other relevant data. So, in other words, there's always a report book by operation. And what you want to do is read that report book, because that report book, if done correctly, the other workers or the other shifts or people in the past left notes in there of problems that they have faced on this piece of machinery and how to solve it or what they did to solve it. So when you look through those report books, you actually get ahead of the game, because if something happens to you and you're in the operation for the first time, or you by yourself and you sit and duck and something goes wrong, the operation is going to look at you like, sir, you need to fix this. And if you over there looking crazy like, I'm new here, I don't know what's going on, go to the report book and look it up. You go to the report book, you look up what's similar. If there's a certain number or error on the screen, you get to look in the book. Hopefully they wrote down that number, and you just look at it and you be like, oh, this is what they did. And you go do what they did. If it works, more than likely it will work. But if it doesn't work, then try to figure out something similar by observing the area, or, the main part, if you're taking too long, call for help. But that wraps up this section of the video. Thank y'all so much for sticking with me through it. On the next video, we're going to the third part, which is general warehouse practices. So make sure y'all go to that video, like this video, comment down below, and I'll see y'all on the next one.